Hello friends, welcome back to Too Many Minis. My name's Ossie. I've been getting the Combat Patrol magazine from Hachette Partworks, which, I've done a video on it. I've had issues 1 and 2. I wasn't going to keep the Tyranid stuff from this. I was going to sell it on or give it to a friend or something, because I was like, I don't really like Tyranids that much. But when I had them in my hands, I was like, you know what? I really like aliens and Alien. And what if I did a kind of Xenomorph scheme? And I've seen people do that before for Tyranids, and I was like, maybe I could get into them that way. Like, I don't find them very engaging, but they make for good villains. They make for scary bad guys. And so I wanted to do a really quick, mostly black paint scheme for them. And I'll show you what I've done. Okay, here's a Von Ryan's Leaper. Primed black. I've added some details to the base, but you can do whatever you want with the base. My secondary colour is going to be deep blue from Scale Colour. Any dark blue will do, but like this is a really dark blue. Watering it down a bit. Nice and thin. And I'm just picking out the kind of soft bits in between the limbs, between the segments. I don't know much about Tyranid anatomy, but I'm picking bits that I want to be a different colour, and I'm doing them in the blue. So I'm doing the bits basically at the joints. These little, I don't know what you call them, little vents in the side, these little gills. I really don't know what they are. Get them all glued up. These bits on the claws, I think they look good in blue. And a kind of little tendon at the elbow. And then the underside of the top of the claw. That's what I've gone for. Mouth tentacles, they should be blue. Get them blue. And that should be a relatively quick step. Just be kind of neat with it and you won't give yourself any problems. There's a certain amount of contrast, but it's quite subtle. Next up, I'm doing a very light dry brush. I'm picking white grey from Vallejo. But you could use white. You could use a light grey, like an Ulthuan grey. Anything super light, because we want this to be glossy in the long run, and so that wants to be a really stark highlight. So I'm using my trusty dinosaur to rub most of the paint off my paintbrush. And then just, well, that's quite a lot, let's dab some off. A very light dusting. See, I think I've got too much there. So I'm taking a bit more off onto my trusty dinosaur. And just leaving a little bit on the carapace, the kind of more armored sections, but it can go over pretty much everything because it's just going to give a little highlight and make it stand out a bit, especially once it's got the varnish on. Nice and blurry, this shot, I'd say. But you can see in a bit more focus here how it's got just a little bit of definition brought to a lot of the areas of the model. For the next step, I'm doing the eyes. I've chosen rust grey. Just wanted a bluey grey kind of colour. I don't think the eyes are very important on Xenomorphs in the Alien films. They're kind of, you kind of don't even see if they've got eyes or not. But I wanted to give them some little sort of slightly milky, bluish, creepy, cold eyes. So rust grey is a good candidate for that. On these ones, they have 6 eyes. So just neatly doing the blue eyes there. This is the only step I'm going to do on the eyes. I'm not going to bother going in and giving them pupils that would look weird or highlights or anything. It's just going to have 3 kind of dead eyes on each side. Creepy. There we go. Looking monstery. Next up, Baylor Brown. This is for the teeth. I tend to do teeth in 3 stages, whether it's Skaven, monsters, Tyranids, they can have the same thing. So if they're they've got not particularly clean teeth, they get in Baylor Brown first, just to shape up the tooth. So here it's all about the shape, the whole tooth for this layer. Then we're busting out the Deck Tan, which is a model color paint, but you could use Deepkin or some kind of iron rack skin you could use, like a darker ivory or a more washed out ivory. And there I'm trying to do most of the tooth, keeping the shape, but leaving some of the brown at the root. See, so I'm doing the lower edge of the tooth. And for the final highlight, I'm getting ivory, which is a model color paint that I really like. It's an incredibly strong pigmented paint. Always covers in one. It's just strong. And it's only going to have the tiniest little dot down the end. And here I'm trying to bring it to a point so that the teeth look nice and pointy. Yeah, kind of gleaming, threatening tooth is what you end up with. But with a brown base that suggests less than optimum oral hygiene. Okay, non-oil wash. Give it a good old shake. Nice crusty old brush. And this is going over, could go over everything, but I think mainly I'm trying to stick this to the carapace, the extruded, tougher sort of scales, and the claws. And there's claws in all sorts of places on this, the back of the heel, the front teeth. I mean, they're weird guys, Tyranids. So the non-oiled is generously splashed onto these. And this is just to give it a bit more darkness than the black areas that aren't getting the non-oil. And they're the black areas which aren't going to be glossed in the varnish stage. There's a bit on the chest. There's a bit on the top of the head. And then there's the outside of these antenna claw things. Kind of praying mantis things that it has. The big shell on its back. The little kind of stinger tail. I wasn't putting the non-oil on the kind of hoofy bits down the front. I decided they weren't going to be glossy. Who keeps their hoof glossy? You know, it's too much high maintenance. Big claws. And at this stage, once you've let the non-oil dry, what I've been doing is giving it all a matte varnish. I use Vallejo acrylic matte varnish, brush on. That's what I do. And that's just to toughen it up, keep it from getting scuffed when I play games with it, which I want to do now. And that's all nice and dry. It's gloss varnish time. I'm using Citadel gloss varnish. It's never let me down, but I'm pretty sure all acrylic gloss varnishes are pretty similar. And then we're applying it liberally to all those areas that we non-oiled. All the bits that we want to stand out as glossy carapace. And to contrast with the dull black, almost grey of the arms and tail, the softer bits. So you're not going over the blue bits at all with this. It's shiny black. Just be as neat as you can. It's not very exact though, because it's not clear to me when it's finished whether you're looking at a kind of slimy gloss or whether you've really got kind of just the most shiny sheen like a beetle. It's a bit ambiguous. Shiny. You can see there's the shiny bits and there's the matte bits, and there's quite a nice contrast between them. So although this is a largely black model that I've hardly painted at all, it's got quite a lot going on with these different textures. Time to add the finishing touch. Time to make it really gross. We're going to be using some Yoo-hoo, or Oohoo if you are in another country where they call it Oohoo. Quite like that. Oohoo. Look, we're just touching it and wrapping it and kind of gooping it, and oh no, I've made a mess. And then we're just going to tie it off somewhere. No, that wasn't good. Yeah, there we go. That's a bad example of doing it, but this is fun. The biggest problem with Yoo-hoo is it's just quite quick drying, so you want to get it while it's still tacky. I'm just using a toothpick, and you want to get a bit on your brush, you want to get a bit on your pick, tag it somewhere, wrap it around something, touch it to something else, goop it everywhere, go crazy, just kind of goop up your monster. Again, I'm not sure of the scientific logic here, like why would this gunk be on their mouth claws and on their antenna claws? But I don't care. Like in the alien films, they're just dripping in goop and it's gross. And that's the kind of thing I want to replicate here. I think you can be as subtle or over the top of this as you like. You can also sort of hang a bit off and then add gloss varnish to it to make it like a dribble, like a drool. You can definitely do that. And I went over some of it with gloss varnish, touching some onto the threads. I don't know if that has any value. It's just, you will knock it if you touch those bits, and you can get rid of it, but then you can just put more on. I don't know. I wouldn't stress it too much. It's a cool effect. It's finished up. A goopy monster, super quick. I'll just dry brush some red over the black on the base. I'm probably going to get some pigment powder. I've never used pigment powder. I'm probably going to get some red pigment powder and splash that about on the base, but I haven't got it yet. This is fine for now. This is really quick. I mean, really quick. Like, I didn't cut much out of this video. This is a quick. You spend more time waiting for stages to dry than you do actually painting. Here he is with two of his bros making up a squad of 3 Von Ryan's Leapers. And I think they're 150 points. Like, that's a lot of points for the amount of time I spent painting. And I painted up the winged hive tyrant thingy. That guy, the one there. That's the one from issue 1. And that's so now I'm up to date with my Combat Patrol Tyranids. I've painted everything that I received. So I'm going to go through the rest of the Combat Patrol doing them like this. I think it's going to be really quick, and it's really going to come in handy when it comes to those termagants. There's like 20 of them, right? 5 barb gaunts. And I'm going to have a really quick new army. And I think that's a really good thing about this Combat Patrol magazine. Yeah, you can take all the time you want over the things you really like, but you can also try speed painting and knock out a Combat Patrol that you don't plan to expand. You just want to have that little unit. I'm also going to use these in certainly the termagants and things. I'm going to use them in the new kill team, which comes with this joint ops mode where you and a friend or an enemy, but you and a pal can like team up against NPC baddies coming in. And I really like the idea of Tyranids for that. I think it's great. Just squashing bugs with your buddy. That's going to be really cool. So if you're going to be painting along at home, drop a comment, say what you're looking forward to. Join the Discord. Discord's free, and people in there have been going along with Stormbringer magazine, which is just finished, the AOS one, and we're going to be following along with Combat Patrol, I'm sure, posting our updates on what we're doing and all that. I'm really looking forward to getting some of the next kits coming up. I'm really looking forward to this exclusive Infernus Sergeant. I want to do a nice job on him. I'll do a painting video for him. I also really want to find out what's coming next after Tyranids and Marines. I think my guess is, judging from the order that the premium kits come in, that it's going to be Eldar next, alongside one of the 2 Chaos Space Marine factions, either Chaos Space Marines or World Eaters, because it's the Demon Prince in the 2nd premium kit, along with the Howling Banshees. I'm crossing my fingers that it's the Chaos Space Marines, because I'm really not bothered about World Eaters. But we'll see. I look forward to the Eldar. Again, I think I'm going to do quite a quick scheme on the Eldar, but I say that now. Anyway, drop a comment if you like the paint scheme. Thanks for watching as always. I'll catch you next time. Bye.